Some backstory first. My wife and I have 3 daughters, 27, 25, and 18. Our oldest 2 are biologically ours, and we adopted our youngest at age 7 after my sister passed. My in-laws were comfortable financially and set up college savings account for our 2 oldest daughters when they were born. My parents and her mother and I contributed to these accounts as well, but mainly my wife's parents. My wife's parents passed before we adopted our youngest daughter, so they didn't set up a fund for her. My wife and I created one for her when we adopted her, but with less time and without my in-laws' help. When our oldest daughter went to college, she could cover 3 years of her education and took out loans for the remaining year. Our second daughter went to community college before transferring to a state school, so her savings covered it, but ended up taking loans out toward her graduate degree a few years later. My wife and I have not signed on to any of our children's loans or paid for them. We told our girls that we would only be able to supplement their education from the beginning, so it wasn't a shock. However, now that it's my youngest daughter's turn to go to college, her savings will only cover a year of school, maybe 3 semesters. Recently, she asked us about loans, and she seemed to imply we would take them out. We let her know that wasn't the case, and she confirmed our suspicions by getting angry at us, saying it wasn't fair she would have to pay so much more than her siblings. We're at a standstill now, with her refusing to speak to us unless we agree to take out at least part of what she needs, and us refusing. Are we the idiots here? We gave her the option to stay home and attend community college like her sister, but she was accepted to one of her top choices and wants to go. Not the idiot. It likely feels very unfair to her, and to some extent it is. However, the world is full of people who need more money to do what they want. It sucks that a college is so oppressively expensive, but there are lower cost alternatives. I had to take out loans, couldn't join a frat, had to work, etc. It blows. Having rich parents would be nice, but not all of us are so blessed. It's reasonable for you to help some if you can. Provide housing, food, etc. If possible. There are options. Info. How much have you received in the time you've had her in survivor's benefits? How much in tax breaks? How were her Social Security survivor's benefits invested? Did your wife's rich parents leave you any money when they passed? When your sister passed away, didn't she leave money to raise her kid? When you started the college fund for her, you knew it would have less money. Was there anything you could do at the time to address that? You need to take a really long and hard look at how much of her money was used for her care and how much was used to fund your family. Yeah, OP, look at how you benefited financially from having her. You can see that maybe you did benefit from $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 per year. Then do the right thing and take out the loans to help her out to make up for what you took from her. I'm leaning towards you are the idiot because probably in at least 90% of the cases I've known where people are receiving survivor's benefits, the money's used to help the entire family, not just the kid receiving the benefit. Yeah, I call bull on OP's had to use to accommodate an extra person BS. Only when all 3 daughters were in the house, 2 years out of the 11, because the eldest 2 went to college, did OP and his wife need to accommodate an extra person. For the next 2 years, OP's family was even, and for the remaining 7, the youngest was the only one in the house. In those 7 years, where did that money go? I'm a victim of survivor's benefits going elsewhere too, and it sucks. More than likely, you are the idiot than not. My son has been married to his wife for 2 years at this point. We get along as well as water and oil. I keep my distance because I don't like dealing with her. She's a horrible picky eater. I don't know why, but truly, I don't care because she's a pain at restaurants. We try to go anywhere, and we have to change places multiple times so she can have something to eat. She makes the servers jump through hoops so she'll have something she likes, and if anything is wrong, she will complain about it or pout in a corner. Example, she got a quesadilla, removed everything on it, and when it came out, she sent it back because there was sour cream on the side. It wasn't touching anything, and she made a huge deal about her food being wrong. She doesn't have allergies either. What made me dislike her is that she complained about the food at a funeral. They had a sandwich spread, but went on about it's gross multiple times. So I had a dinner yesterday, and I invited everyone but my son's wife. My son wasn't invited either, but he was on a business trip. My other daughter-in-law posted it online, and I got a call from daughter-in-law. She was angry I didn't invite her and asked why. I told her it was because she was an embarrassment at dinners, and I wouldn't be inviting her to dinners. She called me a jerk and hung up. Now my son is on my butt, and I'm wondering if I should apologize or not. Edit. I'm going to say it. It doesn't matter if she has an eating disorder or is on the spectrum. Both those groups know how to act at a funeral or restaurant. It may be harder, but they can. Not the idiot. She openly complained about the sandwich spread at a funeral? That's all you have to point out to her, to your son, and to anyone else who challenges you on this. She behaves at mealtime like a decent human being, or you, for one, will not invite her to dinner. Geez, I'm a picky eater, but if a restaurant or event doesn't have a single entree, salad, dish, or dessert I like, then I keep my mouth shut, have a soda or drink, and eat at home. The problem isn't the food, it's the behavior. I'm with you. She can't even shut up about the food at a funeral? Talk about disrespectful. This isn't about her being picky. This is about her behavior. She's disrespectful, childish, impossible to please, and makes everyone else suffer. I've met elementary school kids with better manners. She's controlling the whole thing and she knows it. Making you switch places to eat and running the servers ragged? She has to be the center of attention, and I wouldn't tolerate her shenanigans. Leave her out of more things and I bet she cools her jets. Don't be afraid to tell her to her face. Why? Be exact. Tell her how you feel, not what she wants to hear. Stop tiptoeing around this chick. My family likes to assume I'll do whatever they want. I once got a call at work asking why I wasn't at the airport to pick up my brother-in-law. Apparently, they asked me to pick him up a few months ago. I asked them if they could provide me with an email or text where they told me the date, time, or a flight number. Nope. That was the last straw. My mom and dad gave me crap and tried to make me pay for his Uber. So I sent my entire family an email, followed up by a text. I would only be doing something for them if they had written confirmation that I had agreed to do so. My dad has been awesome about it. He had to have cataract surgery last week. We spoke about it a month ago. He followed up with an email with the appointment's time, date, and location. He also asked me to confirm that I had agreed to take him and pick him up. Easy peasy. The rest of them have been a pain in the butt. My mom asked if I could watch her and my stepdad's dogs while they were out of town. I said yes. Just send me the information about your trip, at least a month in advance, so I can rearrange my plans. No further information was provided. Last weekend, my boyfriend wanted to go to Banff, so we went. My mom called me on Thursday to ask where I was. I told her that I was in Banff. It became a huge deal because she was leaving Friday morning. Oops. I told her I hadn't made any arrangements for the dogs since she never told me when she needed them to be watched. She said I was being an idiot and it slipped her mind. I told her I'd be back on Monday night and that she could kennel them or leave them with my sister until then. She said not to bother. She ended up just leaving them with my sister. My sister's angry at me, so I forwarded her a screenshot of the text where I agreed to watch the dogs as long as I got the requested information. I told her I would cut my trip short immediately if she could get my mom to show me when she sent me the information. Instead, I got a call from my mother telling me I was being difficult and that if I agreed to do something, I needed to follow through. I could provide dozens of examples of my family asking me for a favor and then giving me all the information I need to do it. But I could easily show you a half dozen times where they either claim that I agreed to do something but cannot provide proof or expect me to change my plans last minute because they forgot to tell me everything I needed. I'm not going to change. If my 76-year-old dad can bend his neck to tell me everything I need to know to help him, so can everyone else. Not the idiot, OP. You are the single female, and they've created the idea that all your free time is theirs to use for whatever they choose. Since your sister and her husband are married and therefore more important than you, they shouldn't be asked to help their parents when there's a single daughter who's really best suited to these kinds of servant-type jobs. Why on earth would you collect the brother-in-law when there were other means of transportation? If he could get on a flight, he could arrange how to find his way home. They had volunteered you for this random job, unconnected with you. Your mother thinks that if I agree to do something, I need to follow through. Reminder, this also applies to her. She agreed to send you the relevant info about her trip and then didn't. Or, I am not a mind reader. If you don't give me the information, then I have no idea. Rinse and repeat. And look at you setting boundaries like a boss. Of course users are going to be upset with you. They think you should be sitting at home, waiting to fulfill their needs. I was once that person too. I had to learn that my life is mine. These are the rules, and if others don't like it, they can screw off and be angry. Not my problem. My life is not dependent on their whims. Neither is yours. And you're taking control of your locus of control, and that's really why they're mad. They think they control you and don't need to bend the knee to your rules. Your mom is making it some kind of contest. Keep being a boss. I never thought I'd sound so much like a Karen, but it's a lot more complicated than that. I, 38 female, live in Florida in a community of about 40 homes, and it's fully gated. So after some time, you really get to know who lives in what house and who they typically have over as guests. Also, if you know anything about Florida, this is the time of year when many tourists flock to this area for warmer weather. Our community also has a small rec center for families and a gym and outdoor games / hangout / pool area that's paid for with residents' monthly HOA fees. My house is also directly next to the rec center, so my backyard is essentially attached to it, and I can see everyone who uses the pool area. In the last 2 months, I've noticed huge groups of strangers and families show up for hours on the weekends to use the space. Music absolutely blaring until 1 to 2 a.m., screaming kids everywhere, and they'll just ruin the space by leaving their trash hanging around and not cleaning up after themselves. I haven't done or said anything to the guests directly, but last weekend was my breaking point. I have a trampoline in my backyard for my kids, but kids of the random families using the pool ran into my backyard and started jumping around on the trampoline. My dog was also outside during that time, and they tried to feed him chips and other snacks they had. The whole situation just made me so anxious because I didn't want my dog to get sick or have these kids soaking wet from the pool to slip and get hurt on my property and have it tied back to me. I immediately went into the pool to try to find their parents, and when asked whose guests they were, all of them said one guy who lives down the street, Quinn, 30s male. After talking to him, I found out he's basically been putting ads up on Facebook Marketplace where he's renting out our community rec center to random families and tourists in the area for cheap. Primarily, it's for families staying in nearby hotels that don't have nice amenities and come here instead. I thought it was absurd that he would do this with no thought for the others who live here and let strangers in who he knows nothing about and won't even clean up after themselves. Multiple other residents and I asked Quinn to take down his ad on Facebook, and he refused. So we called the security on his guest. They were all asked to leave, and Quinn is facing huge fines from the HOA for overstepping the guest policies. He's now calling me and others an idiot and elitist for not wanting strangers here. And while the majority of families here are happy and side with us, there are a few who think we should have just let it be. So, am I the idiot? He's now calling me and others an idiot and elitist for not wanting strangers here. He's not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He saw a business opportunity in renting out facilities that aren't his to make money. A lot of chutzpah there, guy. Not the idiot. By the way, how much was he charging? The online ad said $100 for the whole day and you can bring as many people as you'd like. Such a deal. No wonder he had so many takers. Quinn wouldn't mind if you posted his driveway as available for RV parking, right? You get $100, and someone parks at his house for the week. No problem for Quinn. If he does, he's just being elitist. Of course you are not the idiot. Quinn is upset because you closed down his side business, selling access to a scarce shared resource that wasn't his to sell. This happened a couple of days ago, and we're fighting about it, and I just want to know if I'm being unreasonable. So I've been dating Cora, my girlfriend, 25, for a couple of years now, and she just had her birthday. A week out, I asked her not to make any plans for her birthday, obviously stating that I had made evening plans for us, dinner at this restaurant she's been talking about for ages, dessert, and then a drive to go stargazing. I had been hinting around it all week to Cora. I also asked her if her friends wanted to celebrate with her. They told me at the time that they had not figured anything out yet, so I assumed they weren't doing anything, and then made my plans. The day of Cora's birthday comes, and she leaves in the afternoon. No big deal. She was probably having some birthday time to herself. She hadn't posted on her story or anything, so I didn't think anything of it. 6 p.m. rolled around. I messaged her and called her, and still nothing. So I checked her location, because she normally replies very quickly. We have each other's location for safety reasons, and she was at one of her friend's house. So I asked her friend if she'd seen my girlfriend, because I had a birthday surprise set up for her. Turns out that her friends did make plans for her birthday, and didn't tell me because they thought I would ruin the surprise and wanted it to be a complete secret. They had lunch and then made some more plans to go out to some bars and celebrate. They invited me, but I declined out of politeness and not wanting to crash their plans since she rarely sees her friends outside of work. So I messaged Cora to have a good night with her friends, and I'd see her when I got home. I had a cake waiting for her, thought nothing of it, and hung out with a couple of my friends. Cora came home and was angry that I'd turned down her friend's invitation, and she wanted to see me with all of her friends on her birthday too. I said it wasn't a big deal, and that I saw her in the morning and when she got home anyway. I also said that the invite felt like an afterthought when she had all the time during the day to invite me, and she didn't. Am I being an idiot here? Edit. She knew there were evening plans, just not the specifics of what we were doing. She knew you made evening plans for the two of you and didn't bother to tell you that she made other plans, and she didn't invite you to join her at the other plans, and now she's mad at you because you turned down a last-minute afterthought invite from her friend. Either you're leaving something out, or your girlfriend is being totally unreasonable. If she wanted to spend her birthday with you, she made no effort to make that happen. Not the idiot. I don't think there's any ambiguity leaving things out here. The friends actively didn't tell OP anything to avoid ruining the surprise, but there was no surprise. It sounds like the plans were out in the open. They just didn't want to involve OP, and girlfriend either went along or actively participated. I would consider dumping her for this. I'd be very hurt. She ghosted you on her birthday, then got angry when you turned down a last-minute invite from one of her friends. If she really wanted you there, she would have responded to your attempts to contact her. Are you sure you want to date someone so thoughtless? Instead, she was acting angry because she was caught being the idiot, along with her friends, and felt guilty for blowing you off. Talk about gaslighting. Buddy, I want you to think back over the years. Many people think back and realize they've been put in the back seat several times throughout the relationship. How often have you been upset or in a fight because she left you hanging for her friends? If she really wanted you there, she would have asked immediately, not only once she remembered you existed. Sorry, but you were not a priority for your supposed girlfriend.